Okay, so we're talking about business requirement, which is from the business perspective, what business wants. Okay, as a CEO of the company or the CXO or the business head, what they want to get from the business. Second is the user requirement. So from the user perspective, okay, what should user do, okay, in order to meet the business requirement? Okay, and then we talk about system requirement. What is the system's requirement? What should system okay provide, or what kind of software you need to build? See, ultimately BA is not about in general business, it's about business, right? But ultimately we're talking about IT field. That's why we are getting down to IT portion of it. Okay, so from user requirement, user need a better CRM, so we'll develop a CRM system. So the software that needs to build. So high level requirements is broken down to user requirement and then broken down to system requirement. So user requirement is what you need. Okay, so you need to work with the business team to come up with business requirement, then work with the user requirements to get their requirements. The core job is this: getting the user requirement is your core job. Core job of a BA is getting the user requirements. Once you get the user requirements, then you need to work with the technical team to get the system requirements. Okay, and system requirement is then passed on to the development team, technical team, to develop the software. So from business requirements, we're going to user requirement and then to the system requirement. Okay, so I want you to read all these three paragraphs and let me know when when you are okay with it, when you understand and you don't have any question. Let me know when you're done.
Yeah, sir. Sir, here just simply we want to remember this means just we have to, if it's business requirements means it's depends on it's completely it's run around the business, right?
It is about the business objective, what business wants to do. Okay, so business requirement is business objectives. Okay, what business wants to do. Business requirement is the capability required by the user in order to meet the business requirement. Okay, and system requirements are the capabilities which is required. So you are providing the solution. System requirement is the solution which will meet the requirements of the user requirement so that user can achieve business requirement. Okay, so at a high level, these are the three requirements, but IIBA has broken into 6. So your business and user is 1 and 2. The system requirement is broken down into 4 parts: your functional, quality of service, assumptions and constraints, and implementation requirement. Okay, so the system requirement is broken down to 4 parts: functional, quality of service, also called as non-functional. Okay, QoS, quality of service, is called as non-functional. And then assumptions and implementation requirement. Business requirement as it is what we discussed. System requirement as it is what we discussed. Functional requirements are the software capability, the features, what we call in our language, what we call as features. That is the features of the software. What capabilities the software should have. Should be able to add a new patient. Should be able to edit the mobile number of a patient. You should not be able to edit, say, date of birth of a patient, right? Those are the features. Okay. Quality of service or non-functional requirements are about the quality of service or the qualities of the features. Okay, you say, okay, name should not be editable, fine. Okay, phone numbers should be editable. But when you edit them, when you click on save, it takes a minute to save. Okay, it is saving. You're able to update the phone number. Okay, so you cannot say that it is not meeting the functional requirement. Functional requirement is being met, but you are not able to meet the quality of service. Quality of service is that nobody will wait for a minute to save information. When when you log into a form and when you click on it, it takes a minute. We generally get frustrated. It should take less than a second. So how well? We'll talk about it in details, okay? But just I'm giving you idea about what quality of service is meant. Then you talk about assumptions and constraints. Okay, any assumptions we have to make, any constraints we have which we have to include. For example, constraints could be that patient information should be edited only by the receptionist. Okay, when you log in, you also have to log in as a user. So as a receptionist or as a doctor or as an admin, right? So the patient information, if you log in as a doctor or admin, you should not be able to make edits. That's a constraint that you have to put. Okay. Assumptions, okay, could be that by default, when patient comes to your clinic, you can say that the type would be adult, right? Of course, if it is not adult, then you'll make some suggestions. You have to change it, but by default. So okay, so these are some assumptions that we make. There's some. So yeah, okay, not today, but tomorrow when we discuss more about these things, I'll give you a couple of assignments to work on. So you have to think of a solution software, okay, based on your area of interest. You want to develop a software for healthcare, bank, or retail store, whatever, right? And then you have to create requirements and have to put them under each of these headers. Okay, that's why careful. I told you, right? This is now what we are doing now is the core Java of BA. Okay, so your interview questions also will be mostly 50 to 70% questions will come from this area. Okay, assumptions and implementation requirements is about, okay, let's say that database has to be an Oracle database, right? So now, we are not supposed to take implementation requirements because implementation is job of the development team, technical team, and we should not restrict them. But in some cases, okay, in some cases, it is important. For example, you have a Oracle management team, okay, you have Oracle database team, okay, of 50 people, right? Now, if you already have 50 people, okay, and if I develop some other database for you, okay, then you'll have to hire new people. You already have 50 people, but you still have to hire more people, right? So which is not what you want. So that's what. So the talking about implementation details. Implementation requirements is job of technical team. We should not, or we don't want to restrict. But yes, not always it's possible. So we'll have to add. I gave a situation, right? If already they have a team of Oracle developers, they want database to be there as a Oracle database. Okay, so these all have to be documented, has to be written in the document. Okay, so before we get into the details of requirement, what do you mean by requirement? What is requirement? So can you read this first, then I'll tell you what it is. Okay, so see what it says is, what will this project change that is required in order to deliver the objectives, right? So objectives, we have business objectives, right? What, and see there will be some system in use. If it is not IT, it could be manual system, paper-based system, right? It could be anything, but it is a change, right? You need something new, something different, isn't it? You need something different. You need something, okay, um, different than what you have in order to change the.
Depends on the requirement. We have to change.
No. Requirements is the change. Depending upon the objectives, okay, you have to change. See,
Okay.
again, I'll come back to training example. Not good, but you know, it'll help you to understand.
Okay.
Your life was going good. Why did you needed a change? Because you had a different objective, right? You know, it's going on good, okay, but there is a different objective that you want to meet. For that, you have to do something different, isn't it? So a business is going on as usual, but business wants to achieve a particular objective. To achieve that particular objective, they have to change the way they are working currently. Okay, that change is nothing but the requirement. So requirement is the change that has to be brought in the process so that company is able to achieve its objectives. Okay, if you could have achieved the objective without this change, nobody would prefer change, isn't it? But change is preferred because existing process, existing system is not good enough to make it achieve the objectives. So when you say something different, okay, it could be about create, update, or delete something. Okay, you have the existing system, you have to create something new, or and delete something, stop doing it, and or update. That means you need to be done. Okay, the things need to be done, but the way it is done is not sufficient enough. So that's why we say the change, when you say requirements, the change is either creating something new, okay, not, I shouldn't say or, okay, it could be combination of all the three also. Update the existing practice. So maybe you are doing everything, but on paper based. So same thing we have to do it with no system in place, so that you can do faster, better, blah blah. Right? We all know what's the advantage of using a computer over paper. So it can be faster, better, quick to access, easy to change, easy to correct errors, manage it for years, things like that. So you're updating. You're not bringing anything new or deleting something. The process is exactly the same. You're not changing the process, but you're changing the way process is being. So updating the process, updating from paper-based to new software, or old software to new software. Also possible, right? Creating is you're creating a new process altogether. This process was not there before, but now you're creating a new process, or something is not required. So you're removing the existing process. So change can be create, update, and delete. The focus is on what will change, not how will it change. As a business analyst, your job is to understand what, not how. How is the job of the technical team, the management, the technical experts, the coding team, the implementation team, who's going to implement the requirements. Your job as a BA to understand what changes are required. Yes?
Yeah, okay.
So what is the difference between business requirement and functional requirement? Now that you know what is business requirement and functional requirement.
In business requirement, we'll look towards the business, what we have to
Business
change.
requirement is objectives. Function requirement is system capabilities needed. System that is required. Simple. 2 words.
Okay.
Business is objective. Functional is system. Okay, what feature you need in the software. Okay, there is a lot of difference. Okay, the objective is same. You are developing the functional requirement. You are developing the system in order to meet the objective only. Okay, that objective is same. Objective of developing or doing the business requirement or developing in the system, but the kind of work that you capture, the kind of work that you do is different.
Can you elaborate a little bit about business requirements?
We have spent 15-20 minutes on it. Then you tell me.
But okay.
So what is it? You tell me now.
Just that objectives, I didn't get it actually.
What is objective, business objective?
To get profits.
That is the objective of the company, right? To get profit, to get more customer, could be anything, right? They said, right? It could be to get more customers, could be to get more, more, or what I say, reduce the number of steps that you have. So more efficiency, I was trying to say, to bring in more efficiency into the process, right? So you're removing the processes or steps that is not required. So you bring in efficiencies, you bring in more profit, you bring in more revenue, you bring in more customer, you improve your customer employee morale, right? Your employees are leaving you, so you bring in something new so that customer is employees is happy and do not quit. So reducing or improving the customer satisfaction.
Okay.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah, okay, Sarah. That's good.
Okay. Okay. So this is a case study. Okay. I want you to read this case study first. Okay, and then we'll discuss about it. So this is about a software which is being used by German unemployment employment agency, right? So every country has a employment agency, right? So in German employment agency, they work with a company called T Systems, okay, and they developed a software called ProSource. Okay, oh, sorry, ProSource is a smaller company, right? So, so the final product was delivered in the last quarter of 2004 and went live on Jan 1st. The last quarter, so could it be October or November? And within 2-3 months, it went live on Jan 1st. The system consisted of web browser front-end, while the backend was based on 16 servers with 4 processors each. Upon the deployment of the system at the several large German cities, including Cologne, Hamburg, Frankfurt, and Berlin, the users at the welfare offices started reporting serious problems. Right, so it was implemented, okay, and different cities, and when people started using it, they started reporting serious problems with the software. Okay, and let's look at the problems. So what is the first problem? Can one of you read it loudly? Because when I tell you to read, nobody is speaking. So let's see. Can you read loudly? First requirement.
If data entered into the system into the form was incomplete, example, someone missed one of many questions, the system automatically deleted the record after about 3 or 4 weeks.
Right. So it's an employment in software, right? So let's say an employment person registers herself or himself with system. Okay, and you have to enter, let's say, name, email ID, phone number, address, okay, your qualification, things like that. Now, see, if it is a mandatory field, okay, let's say qualification, for example, is mandatory field. They should make it mandatory, isn't it? And your system should not save until you enter the data in there. So here, if it is, so see, when you leave some field not filled, okay, incomplete, that means that field is not important, isn't it? If it is important, then you cannot leave it blank. Okay. If it is not, so if it was able to save the information, incomplete information, that means that field was not necessary. Then how can a record get deleted after 3-4 weeks? This is a serious problem. A record getting deleted, right? It's a serious problem. So it is a functional problem. It is a functional problem where the system is getting the system is automatically deleting the record. If it was important, it should not even save it in the first place. But when you save the information, you have to keep it, right? So the way it was developed is not right. So that's why it's an example of functional requirement. It is an example of functional requirement. A particular specific feature was not done correctly. Yes. Second one.
Account numbers that were less than 10 digits in length were filled with zeros at the end of the string rather than at the beginning. Example, 3225223 become 32252230000. Intent
Right.
of
000 and the number. So
yeah,
so they gave 10 digits, 10 fields to save the information. But if the digits, if the information, okay, was less than account number, let's say you had 10 places, okay, fine. But your account number is only 7 digits, okay, also fine. So in that case, you would put the zeros in front of the number, right? Not behind the numbers, right? If you put behind the numbers, it's giving a different message. Okay, if it is 10-digit account number, then it's fine. But if the account number is less than 10 digits, then zero is getting added at the wrong place. So this is clearly a functional error. The way the product is designed is wrong. Feature is wrong. This is not what we want. This is not what we want. Functional problem, functional error. Okay, next two are reports. Okay, system was not capable of producing analysis of variance report, person who received too much money report. Now, these are reports which were expected but were not there, were absent. That's why I think system was not able to. So the requirement was the people who were working on this, the users needed it. User requirement was there, but you did not build into the system. System did not have that feature. So again, functional problem. Next one is the system did not include functionality to deal with deduction for income from small jobs. Deduction from small jobs, that place itself was not there. You could not do that in the system. Another functional problem, feature was not there. System did not have mechanism to handle one-time payment. Another functional problem. System was not registering people properly with their insurance companies. So you have people in the insurance companies, they were not getting linked. Another functional problem, right? When you are not able to develop the feature, it's a problem. Then system could not properly calculate insurance rates, resulting in, okay, see, they were not able to capture insurance rates. So it lost 25 million euros per month, right? Functional problem. Extremely slow response, the time of the software, extremely slow response. Extremely slow response, you say you search, you enter the details and you say search, it will take a lot of time to give you the result. For non-functional, okay, feature wise it's giving you the right result, okay, feature wise you're saying search, it's giving you the search result, but it's taking too much of time. So non-functional. Extremely slow data entry times, okay, so when you enter the data and save it, it's taking a lot of time to save. Document printing was incompatible with many local stations. See, document printing feature not there, or you could not print the document, then it's a functional problem. You could not do it. The feature is not there. But feature is there, but it is not compatible with many local stations. So it is a non-functional problem. So as a result of above mentioned deficiencies, the expert committee appointed by the German government has concluded the system was inadequate and started constructing a new software system just 9 months after A2LL went online. Okay, so we will talk about the lessons later, but you understood the purpose, right? To understand what is functional requirement and what is non-functional. Non-functional is same as quality of service. So see, assumptions, constraints, implementation requirement is okay. I mean, it's easy. I mean, it's not a big deal. But quality of service and functional requirements are important, and you have to get these requirements. Okay. So now you have some idea about functional, non-functional requirement. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what was the reason why the system failed? System failed because incomplete requirement. Okay. The business analyst did not get the complete requirement. Report, analysis of variance report, not there. Okay. It was not able to handle small payments. It was not able to handle payments from connecting insurance to the people. So these are incomplete requirements. The business analyst did not ask the right questions, right? If they had asked the right question, they would have got the complete requirement. They did not get the right requirement. Lack of user involvement. People who was going to use the software, probably they were not involved. Otherwise, they would have told what they wanted. Unrealistic customer expectation. We completed the software in third quarter, and immediately Jan 1st we went online. Within 2-3 months, you do not have enough time to test the application, right? So when you develop a new software, you have to test it also to make sure that these problems are sorted. So no, unrealistic. We will do it. Okay, 1st Jan we will do it. We'll give you. Okay, they completed in October, November, or December, even could be December also, right? And within a month or with 2 months, it was up and running. Okay, not enough time to test and solve the bugs. Changing requirements specification, probably it took them so much time to develop because requirements were changing. They would have said first thing, first, then again they would have said, no, what we said is wrong. Please change it. And again, change it. So probably they were changing till the last minute, right? If they had given all the requirements at the beginning, okay, they wouldn't have a chance of getting delayed. When something is delayed, that means customers keeps coming back to you saying, please edit, please change. Customers no longer need the features provided. You develop features which the customer did not need. So, incomplete means you did not develop the features which customer need, and last one is you develop features which customer will not use it, right? So you missed something which customer wanted, and then you wasted time developing something which customer did not want. So these are some of the problems which, as a BA, if you don't do your job, will happen. Okay. So what requirements should be gathered? We should talk about functional requirement first, functional requirement. And all these are non-functional requirements: data requirements, environmental requirements, user requirements, usability requirements. Okay. Data requirements means what kind of data is required. Okay. What kind of data? What is the accuracy of the data? Right? How much data? Okay. Less data, more data. What kind of data you need? Right? Okay. Not any data is important, right? What customer need, what you need as a business is what you will take. Then you need environmental requirements. Okay, like context of use, where it is used, how it is used. Okay, social environment, right? Collaboration, coordination, with whom you might be working with some other business analyst, you might be working with some other subject matter expert. So you have to work with them, understand. Okay, let's say you don't have any knowledge about uh, financial financial domain. So in that case, you'll have to collaborate with a subject matter expert to understand the different things, and then you have to involve her or him into the discussions. How good is the user support likely to be? How will user support likely to be? You have to interact with the support team, right? Who's going to provide the support to the user? What technologies will it run on, right? Technical team. So you have to work with different members of your own team or your customers team to understand different aspects of the software. So of course, what features they need. Okay, features will work on data, will work on environment constraints, will work on user requirements, right? User needs, your user. So see, again, it depends upon the qualification of your user, right? When you're developing some software for a research institute, probably your developers are not tech friendly. They could be scientists from different background. Or if you're talking about a manufacturing plant, maybe your workers may not be well educated, right? So your user requirements will change depending upon the nature of the user, right? Intended user group. What kind of group is that? Are they tech savvy people? Are they scientist people? Are they not educated people, not well educated people? So you have to keep user in mind. And finally, usability requirement, how easy it is to use. Many websites, when you log in, okay, you will start loving it. Some website when you log in, you start hating. Oh, I don't understand what is where, right? We don't have a user manual for websites, isn't it? We have to look and see the website and understand what it is. So usability is how easy it is to use, and usability requirement is one of the important aspects when you talk about or when you develop a software. Okay, so who are the, just like, see, user requirement is about who are the people who's going to use your software from backend, from front end, right? Like if you're talking about Amazon website has to design for every kind of people, right? Old, new, okay, maybe a youngster, okay, male, female, right? Educated, not educated, scientists, every kind of people should use. How can they develop such website, right? So they need to have that kind of feature. When you open an Amazon on phone, it will appear different than the Amazon website you open on a laptop. Smaller laptop, bigger laptop, it actually changes based on the browser, based on the type of device, okay? Because it has to design that way, isn't it? So those are called user requirements or usability requirements. The usage of the product. Using is your user requirement. Environment is where you need to interact. What are the other aspects which will work with your requirements? Data, what kind of data you need? And then the topmost is what customer sees is the function, right? When I say save, now whichever technology you use, whatever you use, doesn't matter. Data should be saved in the database. That's called functional requirement. Okay, so function requirement solution will automatically validate customers against the ABC contact management system. Can you explain me what is this? So again, see, if we'll try to end before this meeting ends, we have about 10 minutes. But in case meeting ends, right, we will not rejoin. Okay, we'll stop here today. We'll connect tomorrow. Is that fine? If you're able to, end the meeting before that, fine. Otherwise, if it ends, let's stop it there. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Okay. The solution will automatically validate customers against the ABC contact management system. Can you explain what is this? Without knowing head and tail, and what does this statement tells you? The solution is the software that you're going to develop, right? The feature that you're going to develop, the functional requirement which you're going to develop. So the feature will validate. So when you enter a customer information, so it will validate if that customer is there in the ABC contact management. So the ABC contact management system is another database, right? It could be a part of the project that you're doing, or it could be part of already developed project. Okay, already there's a system and your system needs to connect to that system, or it could be part of the same system, right? You're working on the ABC management system, and within that you're developing a feature which will validate your customer against the system. Okay, the solution will enable users to record customer sales. That means the solution will be able to capture the customer sales. So how many sales were happened every hour, every minute, every day, right? It depends upon the business. If you talk about restaurants, they would want to know, record at every customer. We talk about selling IT product, right? So per day sales is good enough. We're talking about retail store, right? Per hour sale is good enough, right? So depending upon where domain, which domain and what kind of information and what level of information you want to capture, right? What level of information also you need to capture. So that will decide, and then you are saving the dollar value, the sales value. Third is the solution will enable, okay, customer order fulfillment letters to be automatically sent to the warehouse. So maybe let's say when customer places an order, it should generate a fulfillment letter. So that is automatic. The moment customer places an order, it should generate that letter to the warehouse. Okay, so this is the way we write requirements. Okay, and we will be writing requirements. As I said to you earlier also, right? Okay, we will learn slowly to write requirements, and this is the core job. So we have to spend more time here. Okay, what does solution mean in this context?
What the BA analyst comes up with?
Like what the outcome of the product.
Right? Yes, the capabilities, the system requirement. Solution here means the system requirement. Yes.
Yeah, yep, sir.
Yep. Okay. So document requirements, not physical solution. As a business analyst, your job is to document the requirements. Okay. Not talking about the physical solution. As I said, right? What requirements, not how. Not how. How will it be developed? Okay. But what needs to be developed? Okay. So document the requirements, not your solution. Document one requirement at a time. Okay. When I say one, because it has to be complete, correct, right? You don't want to develop a A2LL like software. Okay, so document one, make it complete, make it correct, make sure that you have got all the information, then you take another requirement. Okay. Map each requirement to the business objective. See, we're talking about system requirement. System requirement comes at the third place, right? So when you talk about system requirement, it has to be linked to the user requirement and then to the business requirement. So you have to trace it back. So when you say business requirement, you'll say B1. You always have some numbering. So business requirement B1, improve sales. B2, improve product profitability. Then you go to system requirement, S1, sorry, user requirement, U1, U2, U3, U4. Then you go to system requirement, S1, S2, S3, S4. So it's a system requirement 1. System requirement 1 has to be linked to either one or more user requirement. Okay, if you cannot link it to the user requirement, that means it is not required. If user doesn't need, why develop that feature? So user needs it. That means the S1 has to be linked to either one or more. Right? It could be U1, U2, and then that is linked to your first one, which is business requirement B1, B2, right? So that's why it has to be linked. And make sure that when you say document one requirement at a time, it is about making sure that your each requirement is complete, accurate, and it has to answer the question, what does solution need to change in order to deliver the requirement, right? So what does we need to change in order to deliver the requirements? Okay, so these are the things that you have to keep in mind. Okay, and it has to be known verified constraint. You cannot put constraint which is not verified, right? So yeah, so these things we'll keep in mind when we write the requirements. We'll stop here. Okay, we'll talk about in detail non-functional requirements tomorrow when we meet. These are all non-functional requirements. So what does product or external requirements mean? Okay, we'll do it tomorrow. Any question before we end? All good?
Yeah.
Great. Sure, then you all have a good day. Please, practice, and we'll see you tomorrow. We'll continue from here.
Okay.
Good day. Take care.
Good night. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.